So yes, the video we're going to watch is every single Warhammer faction explained part 1 by Bricky, because I consider myself to be an avid Warhammer nerd, and I want to watch this video to see if I can, well, validate my own Warhammer nerdiness. And my god, Bricky, that was a freeze frame to start your video with. My guy looks like he's about ready to have a really lovely time on the anyway, video time. So chat, say hello to YouTube, and YouTube, if you're watching, come by the Twitch stream. Losers. I'm joking. I enjoy you. Anyway, let's learn about the Warhammer. Again, I've always been a Warhammer fan, so to me, this is going to be fascinating.
Messiah, but someone who can appreciate them. You will not be getting my legs today, as I will be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently talking about.
So he's doing the
and possible comedy to whatever the hell I am currently doing.
Hey guys, look, he became a VTuber. Yeah, Bricky the VTuber. Let's go. I didn't realize there was a V. Oh wait, no, Tau. Yeah, no, wait, that makes sense.
Comedy to whatever the hell I am currently doing. So, hello everybody, my name is Bricky, and this is going to be a long video and a large project that has been going on for quite some time. This is, I need 2 hands for this. This is every single Warhammer 40k race in kind of a nutshell.
Wow.
Explained, a little bit of explanation, a little
I mean,
bit of
let's
lore,
face it, the
a little bit
Warhammer
talking
universe
about
is
tabletop,
goddamn
mostly lore,
ginormous.
what they're all about. And
It's no
also
surprise
a
this
little
is going to be
background for
end up
those
being
of
in
you
2
who just
parts.
have no clue what Warhammer 40,000 is. Now you see, Warhammer.
And you know, I've tried explaining Warhammer to some of my non-Warhammery friends, and every single time they just look at me dead in the face. What? The hell are you talking about, Makari? Are you on the cocaines again? Like, if you're into Warhammer, you're into Warhammer. But for those who aren't, whoa! Oh my god! Banshee! Oh my god, thank you for the raid. Let's go! Chat, grab your emotes and let's celebrate this delicious raid from such a delicious little boo-boo. In 3, 2, 1, go! Thank you very much for raiding. Welcome to the stream, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, I'm Makari, and if you don't know who Banshee is, well, I need to do me a really big favor, and other than treat him like the subby little thing that he is, I need you to make sure you go follow them, because Banshee's on a push for partner, and Banshee has been one of my favoritist of little ghost buddies for the last couple of years, and if anyone deserves the support, it's Banshee. Banshee works fucking hard for what they do. So please go and show them some support. They're adorable, they're cute, and they've been playing Elden Ring recently. Got to watch them beat the shit out of a dog this morning. So welcome. If you guys are just jumping over, we're actually just about to start watching a video called Every Single Warhammer 40k Faction Explained. And we're doing it as a React Andy for YouTube. So say hi to YouTube. Say hi to YouTube. So let's continue watching, shall we?
And Warhammer 40,000 is a universe people hear plenty of, but don't know a whole lot about. They
Yo,
say, oh,
it ain't even wrong. Every time I've ever tried
with
explaining Warhammer to my
chainsaw
friends or
swords,
anyone
and
who
these
doesn't know what
big
Warhammer
old
is,
green orcs,
they
and
just
there's
like,
some
oh,
bugs
like
over there,
D&D,
and
right?
everyone calls
I
these guys
mean, kind
weebs.
of.
And then there's these spiky bitches over here, and I don't get it. I don't
The
understand.
levels
Where
of
do I
creativity
start?
within
This
the
video
Warhammer universe is just
particularly
astounding.
for you,
It's the
or for
most
those of
grim,
you who
darkest,
have a
grim,
little bit of
darkest
knowledge,
content
but
you
you're
will
kinda
ever see in your
curious
life.
about each of the different races
And to be fair, some people
in
buy
Warhammer.
Warhammer just for the sake of
Overall,
building the
Warhammer
models.
universe is
Some people don't give a shit about the
vast
universe, they
when
just
it
care
comes to
about building
lore
things.
and background,
Which
and
is
each
fair.
different faction is so different with the
It's
things
also
they
scary how much
believe in, and
Warhammer's
some are
inspired
human, some are
other franchises.
transhuman, like
Ah! My boys, the Adeptus Mechanicus.
have all these crazy ass electronics on
Y'all
them. You've
don't
got
need
aliens,
organs.
and you've
Y'all
got
don't
the
need
chaos
skin.
factions, and
The
there's
skin
so
is
much to
weak.
entail that I decided to embark on this project to tell you
Flesh is
what
weak,
each
it
and every single one
decays.
of them is about.
There is no
And what the
weakness,
Warhammer
only
universe is about
strength.
as well, to give at least a little bit of an intro.
There is
to
no
this
strength in flesh,
extremely
only
bloated,
decay.
but very, very enjoyable world that I and many others partake in.
Well,
So,
what
I
is a
will be
mechanicum,
explaining
and
every
can I
single
take my
faction in
car
the
there to
Warhammer
get
40K
MOT'd?
universe, at least all the factions you can play as, and some smaller factions here and there. I will not be discussing absolutely everything in it because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to go
yes, the
too
Judge Dredd
mega
armor.
deep into the lore. I'm going to give you a pretty solid overview of each of the different factions.
I mean,
and
I was
have you
gonna
learn
say,
a
if he was
little
gonna
bit
do a
about
video
them,
on
and we'll
every single
discuss a
faction,
little bit
this
of
would
the
probably be
tabletop
about
as
7
well,
hours
in case you were
long.
curious about that. But
If
for
he
this
was gonna go
episode
into
entirely,
detail about each
we
of
are
them.
discussing
Like,
the
if you've ever
Imperium
read one of the
of
codexes
Man,
for the Warhammer
because that
universe,
takes up
these
a fat
factions
chunk
become
of
very
Warhammer lore.
chunky.
What is Warhammer 40,000? Well, the 40,000...
Before he explains what Warhammer 40,000 is, everyone, whether you're watching this on the YouTube side of things or whether you're in my Twitch chat right now, tell me what you think, or how you would explain the Warhammer universe. What is Warhammer? Give me a TLDR.
starts off is the year 40,000, the 41st millennium. That's where it takes place, is in the year 40,000, 41,000.
It's a war where people only use hammers.
Let me read you a quote. First of many quotes in this video.
It is war. All is war.
Millennium.
True.
For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of
Bullshit in the
Earth. He is
41st
master of
millennia.
mankind
Also true.
By the will of the gods.
Nothing
and
matters
master
unless there's
of seven
orcs.
worlds by the
Also
might
true.
Of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000
What the hell
souls
would
are
I do with 40
sacrificed
hammers?
every day so that he may never truly die. To be a man in such times is to be amongst untold billions.
You see, originally I always found the concept of the Emperor of Mankind to be really bland and kind of mundane. But ever since I watched Emperor's Text-to-Speech, I can't get over the fucking voice they gave him. So every time I hear him, I just see him as this, like, really upstanding father figure.
For in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting gods.
So, like a typical day in the land of the Kariverse? Smile?
And it blows fucking hard. Warhammer is probably the most dark and depressing universes.
This is what I said. It is that Warhammer holds no bars when it comes to making their universe as dark and as depressing as possible.
That it all kind of ends up canceling itself out. It's like,
again, it's almost as depressing as going to a goth bar at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Across the galaxy, interstellar travel is only possible due to sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a
So
man
what you're
who
saying
you
is
believe
that the
to be your
41st
God.
millennium
Demonic
uses
gods
people's
use
souls
demons
like
tear
McDonald's
open
uses
the
their
fabric of
employees on a
reality
day-by-day
on a
basis.
whim.
Cool.
Other Xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions across the galaxy. It is a time of unending war, slaughter, and a bloodbath.
So TLDR, the age of Warhammer in its current state, at one point, many millennia ago, humankind basically almost conquered the entire galaxy. And then chaos happened. And shit went sideways. And now the humans are kind of regressing and doing stupid shit. And yeah, no one's really a good guy in this.
amongst everybody.
Also, the art
Planets
fucking
are
slaps.
deemed unrecoverable and are completely destroyed on a whim. Everything sucks. But that's like the charm of it.
Exactly. Everything sucks.
in
What's that?
Warhammer
Your
is
planet
evil.
has heresy?
But being evil
Ah, I
is
guess
kind
I
of
better
fun.
just
Like,
lay the
humanity
exterminatus down on you
in its own
guys.
right is a xenophobic, prejudice, and religious zealot group that kill each other just as much as they kill all of their enemies. And they're like mid to high tier evil on the evil scale of
Thing is, though,
Warhammer.
there is no
Nobody
evil
good.
scale.
No matter who
Everyone
you are,
in the
everyone
Warhammer
is
universe,
some
except Tau, are a
flavor,
bunch of
some
fucking
color of
dicks.
evil.
And even
Whoever you
Tau,
pick, you are
they're
going to
bad
be
by
the
comparison. I mean,
bad
it's
guy.
all
But
on
that's
the
the
spectrum,
fun of
right?
it. 'Cause
Everyone's
being the bad
evil
guy
is
badass.
subjective.
Villains are cool. They look cool. They got cool outfits. They got cool weapons. They got cool armor.
Like, technically, the
Villains
humans in this are
cool,
evil.
man. And when everyone is a villain,
Because everyone's perspective
everyone
of good
pretty
is
cool.
their
That's
own
what makes this so
subjective
charming, is
nature.
that everyone can be the bad guy.
Exactly.
So let's start off.
I mean, okay, to be fair, there are some factions which you would consider to be quintessentially evil from a human's perspective. Like, you think about orcs or tyrannids or necrons. They would be quintessentially considered the bad guys because they're basically the antithesis of human nature. But from their perspective, they're doing what they see as better for their greater good.
About the main bad guy, quote unquote, the Imperium of Man.
It's hair, whack. It's gear, whack.
The Imperium of Man is the main empire of the human race. All of humanity is under this one flag called the Imperium. And about 10,000 years ago, there was a man. He was
There's
the
more
emperor, the emperor of
dissidence and
mankind,
discordance
a
within the Imperium of
10-foot
Man
tall
than between anime
psychic
fans at a
demigod
convention.
who led humanity across
What's
the
that
stars,
you said about my
colonized
Naruto?
tons
You're
and
wrong.
tons of
Actually, if
worlds,
you watched
create
episode
superhuman
16.7
soldiers,
at exactly
really
17
bring
minutes,
humanity to
Naruto
a
actually
new
did do a
age.
doobie.
This man, the emperor of mankind, was a psyker. And a psyker is like a magician of sorts. In the world of 40k, there is the warp, the immaterium, kind of like hell, but sort
We
of like
learnt
a
about this in
purgatory
Emperor's Text-to-Speech.
dimension of
We're so
hell.
smart.
And a psyker is someone who can take
One in
that
chat if you're
power
as smart
and
as I
manifest
am.
it through their mind to use it to do stuff, like witchcraft stuff, magician stuff, spells.
Oh,
and lots
he
of
got
other things,
thunder.
but we don't want to get too into that.
Oh,
The
shoot,
emperor,
shoot.
big-
Hold up. Yo, that's the outfit they have in Darktide, except he's got a skirt and isn't wearing jeans. Dude, they have almost that exact skirt for the Psyker in Darktide. That's so cool. I get that reference.
The Emperor, big boy psyker, top tier.
Daddy
A+,
psyker.
maybe even S. Now the Emperor created a bunch of sons. Yes, created a
The
bunch of
Primarchs.
sons known as the Primarchs. He created 18 Primarchs to have them lead all of the different legions of humanity.
And all of them look edgy as anything. Like, oh my god, every single one of the Primarchs has something wrong with them. Except for maybe one.
Stars and plans to help colonize and bring
Most
up.
hey, my boy Magnus, he did nothing wrong.
Primarchs are basically like little versions of the Emperor. Not all of them are psychers, but a lot of them are very, very powerful, and they lead his special Space Marine legions.
Dude, look
then
at that
this
sword.
big clusterfuck happened called the
I want a
Horus
sword like that.
Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, ended up joining Chaos and
Boo! Chaos.
9 of the 18, half.
If Horus
half
hadn't been
of
such a
his Primarchs
special little boy,
directly to
just
Earth
because
to
Horus
fight down
wasn't
the
Daddy's
Emperor
special
himself.
little
Now,
boy,
going to
he had to go
Chaos,
throw a
as I mentioned
tantrum.
earlier, the warp, that immaterium, the hellish place. In
Yeah,
there
salamanders are quite
lies
possibly the only
four
good
Chaos
Space
gods.
Marines
Imagine like
that are,
Satan
like,
and
neutral
3
good.
other Satans.
All of the others
warp
have
being kind
differing
of
levels
evil,
of
those
bullshit.
Chaos gods, that's the reason.
No
And
one counts
those
Ultramarines.
Chaos gods
Ultramarines are dicks.
manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped manipulate
Ultramarines are Daddy's
all 8
special
of the
little
Primarchs
boys.
to lead this giant coup directly on the Emperor on Earth, and they fucked up shit. After this huge civil war, Horus died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor, and right at the end of his life, they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, but slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astronomicon, so long as he stays alive, and is fed 1,000 people a day. The Astronomicon is like the North
Vor? Some say Vor. So what you're saying is, Vor.
Star. If you want to do
He's fed their
travel
souls,
in
by the way, their
40K,
souls.
You need to pass through that demonic warp I mentioned earlier. But how do you know where
Look
you're
at those
going? Well,
legs.
the Emperor is there putting
So
a nice
slender.
little navigator right there. He helps navigate you to know where you're going. If you want to go from Earth to some crazy solar system
I give
across the way,
Games
you need
Workshop
to
some
go
big
through
credit
that
for the
warp,
fact for how much
and then you
detail
need to
they've put
know
into
where
this
you're
whole
going, go
concept.
through there and pop your way out. It's like doing nether travel in Minecraft, so you can shorten the distance between going to areas. So long as the Emperor is alive and
Hey,
being
JT,
fed
what's up, dude?
1,000 people a day to stay alive, you can do that. The moment he dies, interstellar travel's gone for all of humanity.
Hello there.
You're so boned.
Yo,
Now,
JT
since the
Gia, thank
Horus
you so much for the
Heresy
follow. What's up?
10,000
Welcome
years
to the
ago,
stream. I hope you're doing
Imperium
well.
has fallen from grace substantially. All technology has started to dwindle and die. There is now giant fundamental religious extremists that now believe the Emperor of Mankind was a deity, a true living god, which is probably the last thing the Emperor would have wanted to be remembered for. So now you
See, this is the thing. As much as Emperor's text-to speech is kind of satire, they do kind of point out a lot of the stupidity of the Warhammer universe. Like, when you end up playing a Warhammer game where you play as the Imperial or the Space Marines, you're playing zealots. You're playing a very overly zealotized religious sect, essentially. You're not doing good, I can assure you of that. You're definitely not helping a situation get better.
Have this thing called the ecclesiarchy, which is this giant church entirely
Like, there's so much
devoted to
hypocrisy and
spreading
bullshit
the
within.
good word
Like,
of the Emperor. He is now the holy Emperor
Emperor's
God,
text to speech
the
really
God
goes to point
Emperor
out how
of mankind,
mankind's
and all of the
has
Imperium
fallen from
has
its
taken up
path, as it were.
worshiping him to the fullest extent and killing anything that isn't humanity in his name.
It's why a lot of
The
people tend to
Imperium
root
has
for the other
this
factions, because,
futuristic
yeah, humans are
goth
dicks.
tone to it and a hefty religious zealotry to them. If you think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die. That is called being a heretic.
Don't worry, guys. If you don't want to live in the
Heretics
40,000
die
universe,
40K.
just join the
There is no such
Kariverse.
thing as freedom
If
of
you think
religion.
anything heretical
There is no
against
such
me,
thing
you'll
as
just be put in
freedom
the
of
pocket
speech,
dimension until
so
you
long as
have
are against the
had a change of
Emperor.
heart.
There is no such thing
You
as
won't
any
die.
kind of tolerance. Everyone is a
And you're free to
religious
think as you
zealot.
will.
Some more
But if you
than
think
others,
anything against me, you'll be
but
put into the
no matter
pit
what,
or the pocket dimension.
preaching that good word. So right now, everyone in humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars. If you are a heretic, someone who doesn't believe in the Emperor, you are.
This makes you
deserving
wonder,
of
because
death.
all of this is
If
just
you believe
happening in the
Chaos
one
Gods,
galaxy.
You are also a heretic.
What about the
and you
galaxies
deserve
on the
death.
other side?
If you are an alien race of
What
any
happens when
kind,
they are
you
able
a
to achieve
filthy xenos and you deserve death as
galactic
well.
travel?
So long as the murder continues and humanity expands, the Imperium of Man is very, very happy. However, the largest fighting force of this Imperium is
And
my
yes,
personal
I
favorite
know there
faction,
is a
and the first
Makari
faction
in the
to
Warhammer
discuss,
universe,
the
and it's a
Astra
goddamn
Militarum, or
grot. Leave me
also known
alone.
as the Imperial Guard.
The Imperial for the Emperor.
The Imperial Guard is the main fighting force of the Imperium, and in a world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves breaking through the fabric of time to kill
What
you,
he's gonna say
the
here is
Imperial
these
Guard
guys are the
untold
cannon fodder.
billions of regular men and women wearing modern day like flak armor with a laser rifle. This is the humble las gun.
So this is the humble lad's gun. This is considered the weakest weapon in the entirety of the Warhammer universe, and yet this thing still punches holes through brick. It really goes to put into perspective the scope of how dangerous things in the Warhammer universe are.
The main weapon of the Imperial Guard.
I love the
Fires
aesthetic of the Imperial Guard, I'll give them that.
Lasers and an extremely fast
I'd never
fire
want to
rate
play
that
them,
is reliable,
but I love their
never
aesthetic.
Jams. It can blow off limbs, giant holes in concrete.
There you go.
It is overall an extremely devastating
I think he
weapon
read the same wiki
in
article I
modern
did.
day. It is one of the weakest in the 40k universe. A laser rifle that never jams, it could blow off limbs, one of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now. But who cares? Because the Imperial Guard has, in each battle, 500,000.
Yeah,
of
you know,
these
one
men and
flashlight by
women.
itself, not too strong.
30,000
500,000
large
flashlights?
armored
You're gonna
tanks,
blind someone with that.
10,000 artillery batteries. The Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers.
Really puts our
and
modern
firepower.
military
They kinda
might
have
to
this
shame, doesn't it?
World War I, World War II style aesthetic with legions of guards.
Yo, thank you for that resub, Matom.
on the field along with them, and multiple kinds of troops. A normal Imperial Guard battle
Chat, show some love to Matt on,
starts
please.
off
Thank you.
with artillery, long
21
lines of
months.
artillery,
Sheesh.
cracking the crust of the planet underneath the enemy's feet. And as this barrage continues, hundreds of thousands of guardsmen, a sea of guardsmen, surges forward, firing and charging at everything possible.
The
while
41st millennium
planet
takes to Imperial
rumbles
Guards like
as
American
tanks
does to
roll up
ammo.
behind them.
If
Gunships
one soldier
block
doesn't
out
do
the
it, throw a
sun,
million at them.
tanks block out the dirt with the steps and hoofprints of millions of guardsmen. It is through numbers and sheer sundering firepower. They are the first and last line of defense. For the
Macarius, I
Imperium
think
and
so?
make a huge bulk of the battles. The Imperial Guard is also made up of tons of different kinds of regiments. The Catachin
Like I give the Imperial Guard full credit. They are a determined bunch. And they're not, it's not like they're weak. Like, they have their own, they can pose a threat to almost any army. It's just, for a unit by unit basis, they don't hold a punch to most other factions.
You have the Valhallan winter soldiers who haven't felt their toes in 300 years.
Except for the Kriegsmen. Yeah, the Kriegsmen are kind of crazy. I just kind of find it funny how most of these different factions are so specialized.
From Cadia.
Oh no,
The
Cadia!
biggest export of guardsmen in the entirety of the Imperium. You will fire your first gun at 5. You will disassemble and reassemble it at 10. You will have pounding artillery drills day in and day out at 15. And you'll fight your first Swarm Lord at 16. And if you mention Cadia, you will burst into an unrelenting amount of tears and sadness like I do daily. To quote,
That's
an entire battle group.
That's probably why they talk about it so much in Darktide. Can't believe Cadia is gone though.
Stealthers, mechanized formations, armored.
Alright, who blew up Cadia? Which one of you little lumpkins did it?
Over 500,000 fighting men and 30,000 tanks and artillery pieces are mine to command. Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not.
Alright, own up to it.
Imperial
Who blew
Guard
up
are my
Cadia?
personal
Come on.
favorite faction
Fess
in
up.
40K. They're the army I collect the most.
It was
the
you,
ones I enjoy
Juggernaut.
playing the
God damn it.
most,
How many
and
times
the
do I have
one
to tell you? Stop
enjoy
blowing
in
up
the
planets
lore
without
sense a lot.
permission.
There's something about just a regular man with a laser rifle.
I think that is kind of what I think people who get into Warhammer for the first time, the reason why they like playing Imperials or Space Marines to begin with is because it's that relatability. It's like, oh wow, humans, they just like me for real, for real. And then it ends up being like Warhammer. Sorry, it ends up being like a roleplay thing where, yeah, I'm kind of bored being a human. Time to be a demonic entity of the nth dimension.
The horrors of this universe.
And of course, Eren eventually becomes an orc.
Doing so for
Because green is based.
poetic. They actually represent the main Imperial Guard tactics pretty well. Large amounts of artillery that doesn't require a line of sight, lots of tanks, tons of infantry, drop troops, and gunships.
I will say, I
They're
loved
pretty
painting
similar
Imperial
to how they
Guards.
sound, though a little bit expensive to collect, unfortunately. And they
Excuse me,
don't
Bricky,
hit a lot
you mean everything is expensive to collect.
of
No
have a bit
shot.
of a bad aim, but
No
don't really
shot.
care
I went
because
into a
you're drowning in
Warhammer
shots.
shop the other day,
However,
and every
one
single
more
model
accurate
was.
fire and
I remember back in the day, I could spend 20
we
quid
can
and get an
move on
entire
and talk about
an entire troop of
Space
units.
Marines.
Now, you spend 20 quid, you get one unit.
Angels of Death
So
are up
pathetic.
next.
No
Space
wonder people
Marines
3D
are
print their shit these
genetically
days.
Engineered super soldiers and superhumans.
They're
given
Space
extra
Marines!
organs, their skin tissue is tougher.
We've learnt about these guys before.
Stronger, they're taller than the average person. They're pretty massive people, and these are the specialized super soldiers that carry out a lot of the more specific tasks for the Imperium. And there's tons of legions of them. In fact, there's
Yes,
one
I remember,
called
Vince. I remember. I actually
Primarch,
had a friend who
the
collected
son,
them.
as I mentioned before, oversees their legion of Space Marines. The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said Primarch.
Gene
So I call
seed,
gene
as it were.
seed.
There you
That's
go.
what brings them up to this.
I know about Warhammer.
As stated, each Primarch has their own legion. Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines. Jagatai Khan has the White Scars. Rogel Dorn has the Imperial
Rogel
Thorax
Dorn!
has the Raven Guard. And there's a whole bunch of other side sections
Ugh,
that are
Rogel
also
Dorn.
extremely
What I
interesting
wouldn't do
and
to
have
that
a little bit
man.
more of a twist on the average Space Marines, which we will discuss in a bit. Humorously enough, I don't have a whole lot to say about Space Marines.
Because they're kind of
superhumanly
par for the
fast.
course.
In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick. These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds. Their
That's because
reflexes
they're
are
born
faster,
that way,
their skin
baby.
is tougher. They
They're
are
born that way,
overall
like I'm
extremely
born to-
powerful soldiers.
Like,
fact,
I'm
where
born
they
to
differ
breed
comes
and
down
make
to
chat
which
feel
Space Marine
fertile.
legion you're
Space
talking
Marines are
about.
born
For
to
instance, the
fuck and
Ultramarines
kick
done
shit
by
in the
Robert
ass.
Burleman, are the main blue boys, strong in almost every way, the jack of all trades kind of group. That
Yeah,
are a
they
little
just
bit
build
too
different.
strong, and that's a lore problem. But the White Scars by Jagatai Khan are all about speed freaks, go fast. We're talking attack bikes. We're talking land speeders.
Come on, Bricky,
You
you've
wanna
already
go
given
in
us a video
quick,
like
you
this.
want to hit them hard. You want them to be swarming around like buzz saws. With the
Also, the
speed of
jetpacks are freaking cool.
buzzsaws. Fuck you, Pale King. Salamanders love fire. Fire in forge, fire in battle. Flamers,
I get that reference.
Melta-guns, multi-meltas. Just so long as something
Salamanders. Literally the only Space Marine.
some of the nicest of the Space
Yeah.
Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind
Literally
of
the only
holier
faction
than
that
thou
people
thing
actually
because of
enjoy
their genetic
being around.
strength. However, the Salamanders tend to put human lives above the lives of themselves, which is actually rather rare. They're also all black, but not like just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle.
Aw,
They
man.
have a charcoal, dark, ashy exterior.
I'd love to be a
and
salamander.
blazing red eyes. Apparently, something about living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes much sense, but who cares? This is like fantasy
looks so
land
cool.
anyway. Overall, salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool. They're fun to play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice, like, more heartwarming lore as opposed to being super evil like everyone else is. Oh my god, we're not even a quarter of the way through the Space Marine legions. Imperial Fists believe in the power of the siege and defensive positions. Raven Guards, master of stealth and sabotage while having burn.
I think we could probably
Iron
skip
Hands,
this bit
masters
just for
of
the sheer
machines,
sake that we've already
vehicles, while being
seen all
really
this
goddamn
in the
good
Space
at
Marine
being
video.
sold on eBay after one nerf. Space Wolves, Vikings, and wolves, and tons of wolves.
Furries!
And axes, battle axes, fur everywhere. Space Wolves, angry, big teeth.
The
Blood
furries!
Angels, the genetic defect to make them want to drink blood and go crazy, called the Red Thirst. They have Cupid wings and
Berserkers?
stuff, which is a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for sanguinians. Dark Angels are old school.
I mean, to be
knights,
fair,
inner
when you got a
circle
pretty boy like
theme.
that around, I'm not surprised.
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once in a blue moon, I know.
Death Watch, a fancy anti-Xenos group that nobody plays because Death Watch, and they look cool though, but no one plays them. I don't know about Death Watch. They're there though. Black Templars for the people who, if you haven't played,
Ooh! No one expects the Black Templars. These guys, oh boy, these guys have got a chip on their shoulder.
at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock, and I'm sure there's some other chapters I may have missed.
The
as
most
well, like
devout
Princes
zealotist
and
of
stuff,
all the
but
factions.
Those are the main ones right here. Here, quote from the Emperor himself. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great armor
I find
shall
it
clad
insulting
them,
they
with
think
the
I'm gonna read
mightiest
this.
weapons
So
shall
thank
they
you,
be
Bricky,
armed.
for,
They will be untouched by plague or
reading
disease.
out
No sickness shall blight
this
them.
mighty
They shall have
passage.
such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them.
By the way,
in
guys,
battle.
make sure you're
They
taking
are my
notes, 'cause there's gonna be a
bulwark
test on this
against
after
terror. They are my
afterwards.
defenders of humanity. They are my space
If you don't know
marines.
exactly
They
which
shall
Space
know
Marine
no
faction it is
fear.
that wants to
And on the
tickle your
tabletop,
taint,
they
then you'll be
oh,
sent out the
they
airlock
are.
into the pit.
As of making this video, Space Marines are laughably strong. That might change at some point, but overall, Space
Nah,
Marines
that
are
ain't changing.
It's like a Swiss Army knife, a tool for anything you need, except it's like a gold-plated Swiss Army knife. It is extremely strong. If you are actually getting into the tabletop of Warhammer, Space Marines are a great start. Also, whatever gameplay style you have, whether you want to be sit back with long range and heavy weaponry, go fast and run in, or even just full melee, all of these
Become
options are
a
totally
furry,
there for you.
become
Space
a
Marines
furry.
are super badass.
Just don't become an
Unfortunately,
Ultramarine.
it's time to
Everyone will
start
laugh at
praying
you.
To our new god, the
I made that
2011
mistake.
Honda Civic.
So is it
The Adeptus
afraid of technology?
calling call. Calling call.
Adeptus Mechanicus. The Adeptus Mechanicus are a technophile cult on Mars. Now, these people are a little bit weird because they don't actually really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh, whoa,
Heresy.
whoa, Berkey, that sounds like some heresy.
Yep.
A little bit. They believe in the Emperor. They believe in his power. but they don't pray to him. They pray to something called
The Omnissiah.
And the Omnissiah is this kind of machine god that they believe permeates in all machines.
Which, funnily
And
enough,
if you
the
think,
Omnissiah
well,
only came
wait
into
a
being
minute,
because of the
they
Emperor,
believe
so
in
I'm
a
just
different
saying.
God as well? That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish, but they also make all your guns, and they make all your tanks, and they make
Yeah, you better kiss
everything
their
that you
ass.
have. So you can't really tell.
What's that? You insulted the Omnissiah? Okay. That does it. No tech marines for your entire chapter. Yeah. How's it feel? Bitch.
Them the fuck off, because you're not gonna win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with. See, their Omnissiah at least makes sense from their standpoint. They believe it to be a deity that permeates through all machines. Your Honda Civic, your standard bolt gun, your Dune Strider Walker, your giant mechs, your
Oh, their mechs are just so sexy. I actually want to collect Adeptus Mechanicus.
All. And the only reason you must pray to it, and I mean
Pray to
full
your gun.
stop, you need to
Guys, okay, so I know this is like really complicated. The best way I can analogize this is like you praying to my thighs in the morning. It's the same thing. You pray to my thighs to get my boon. You pray to your gun to make sure your gun works properly. It's the same thing, exactly the same thing.
start chanting in high Gothic. You need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray to that car. You need to rub oil on your robes, and you need to go ahomina, homina, 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 homina. Full stop. If you want your damn thing to work, if you want your gun to fire, you need to do that.
Kind of funny how
They
the
are
orcs and
very
the space
bizarre,
marines have
and
very similar
they
premises
actually have a
around
bit of a
using the
point,
power of your
because
will
it's
to make your
obviously
gun
working.
function correctly.
And if you look at them, I don't know.
Orcs
how
and
that
humans
works.
aren't too far apart,
So
apparently.
They obviously know something about what they're doing. The most notable member of the Adeptus
Cool,
Mechanicus
cool.
is Magos, whatever. Belisarius Call. Look at the
Ah, it's cool!
Yeah. This is the group
Would you
we're
like
talking
to
about.
put a call through to
These are
call?
these weirdos.
Call,
Here.
a call
The
to call.
Omnissiah Creed. The credo, Omnissiah. There is no truth in flesh. Only
Yo,
betrayal.
Hisaya, thank you
There
for the
is no
follow.
strength
Welcome to
in
the stream.
flesh,
How you doing
only
today?
Weakness. There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh.
Oh, there's a song by
Flesh is
uh,
death. The Omnissiah is the god of the machine.
There's a song by
If you
Dan
wish to be
Bull
whole,
that
if you wish
uses
to be
these
holy, if
words
you wish
for
to live
lyrics, and I
unto
freaking
him,
love it.
You must saw down your limbs and remove your organs and replace them with mechanical parts, because that is what he wants, and that is how.
So
you
what I'm
become
learning from
a,
this
like,
is that Cybakari
hard
is
technophile
basically an
mixed with
Adeptus
religious
Mechanicus.
extremism.
Huh,
That's
interesting.
Mechanicus. Now, for their army side of things, they are with the Skitari.
Oh, that's
The
all good,
Skitari operate
Hisaya. It's
very
nice to have you
bizarre
back.
Weaponry and lots of different kinds of vehicles, tanks, and different people in between. They're very weird, but they have extremely wacky and enjoyable, and in fact quite effective, both in the real game and in the lore, weaponry and.
Does
gear.
Cybakari fuck
Overall,
toasters,
as an
though?
army on tabletop, they're very
She
weird
fucked shit
and have
up.
A whole bunch of different shenanigans.
She'll fuck
But
you.
if you like kind of that quirky, wacky
Does that count?
techno
You're a
thing,
toaster, right?
I think you pick up. Hell, they're so paranoid. I gotta keep going.
It's why I never go in the bath with you. Smile.
These
Nah.
you see right here, one guy was able to make them work. One guy, and he died. And they're so scared they'll never work again that they keep them on and they never turn them off, and they run around in a circle the whole time until they need them, and then they corral it and they go into battle.
That's so cool.
Yep. The Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, if you want to talk about faith, though, let's talk about the Sisters of Battle.
Oh, the bitches. Oh, the bitches. Oh, it's a bit quiet? Okay, I turned it up. There you go.
The Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas, if that's how I pronounce it correctly, is an all-female...
I'm sorry. Okay, you know what? None of this matters. Do you want to... you know, we could turn this entire video into one small video. Let me just... There's one video that summarizes this entire thing. This. This is all you need to know. This right here. This is the entire video.
You
You have sullied your hands with filthy parchments of heresy, guardsman. How do you plead?
What? No.
Too late, heretic.
Uh-huh.
You
Yup.
inspire your men to study such foul smut, Commissar?
That's
You
the pecking order.
Detestable mutants fill your heads with such vile obscenity! Die, heretic! Maybe just one read.
The entirety of the Empire of Mankind is filled with nothing but hypocrisy, bullshit, and nonsense.
Sister, I need your blood to... Oh, hold on.
You're a heretic!
You know what?
They're just running around down there. I better just lay the exterminatus upon these heretics. Zork fire! You know what? A 50-minute video from Bricky summarized in
Battle sisters
45 seconds.
Going through the ecclesiarchy section of the Imperium. The ecclesiarchy is, of course, the church. This is.
I like how that
imagine
new
a
TV
private
series the
army
Games Workshop are
of
trying to
the
make with
church,
the Sisters of Battle, are trying to paint the
which
Sisters
is
of Battle as
scary,
less than
and it is. The sisters
sociable.
are an extreme
Like that new
zealotous
show that
force,
Games Workshop are
and
making,
they take
it's
this
like an
to a
animated
full
series with the
extreme.
Sisters
They
of
believe in
Battle,
three
and they're
main
trying to
things:
paint the Sisters of
faith,
Battle as if they're not
martyrdom,
giant
and
bitches.
fire. Through the bolter,
I'm
the
sorry.
flamer, and the melta, the Sisters of Battle are extremely potent at taking out chaos and heretics. Mainly heretics, because as they are a fighting section of the ecclesiarchy church, that's the big thing they want to kill. Any form of heretic will face the Emperor's justice through those three main weapons, the bolter,
Chatter,
the
you a
flamer,
heretic.
and the melta,
A heretic.
and they will do so with extreme prejudice. Literally. They are the closest things we have to nuns in space. And I'm talking hardcore nuns.
Hitman
they
would
carry
appreciate these
holy
guys.
fire on their backs. They have holy books and sigils all across their armor. Their main battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher. They have small babies, that
Little
they have,
cherubs!
like removed their brain capacity to make them little servant cherubs to fly around and give
That's
them
terrifying.
ammunition
Oh
and
my
shit.
god. Ugh.
They drop churches from low orbit as mini drop pods.
Which
onto
Warhammer
battles.
game was it? Was
They
it
drop
Soulstorm?
churches
You got to play as these
into
guys?
battles, and they blare war hymns and holy music
Soulstorm,
from
right?
their frigates in low atmosphere and shower holy water across the battlefield. These are the people you are dealing with, and they're fucking awesome. They can literally
Awesome,
stave
but bunch of
off
bitches.
demons on the tabletop because their faith is that strong. Remember the warp, the demons from the warp? Well, the warp also manifests in your mind. All of your emotions, negative and positive, go through the warp. It's the immaterium, the place of all things. So if you are that mentally fortified, that mentally strong, you can stave off horrifying demons.
Unless unless you are unless you're unfortunate enough to be this poor little fella. This poor guy clearly needed a bit more fortification. He needed to have contacted the Sisters of Battle, clearly. So take notes, ladies and gentlemen. If you need to learn your mental fortification, then contact the Sisters of Battle. Nodders. What's
And
high
all
spot?
these
SWAT now, what's
girls,
up, dude?
oh, not a crack.
Yeah,
Not a
Warhammer's one of
crack
those
in
kind of
that
subjects
mental
that you
armor.
could talk
Now,
about
as
for
much as
days.
a meme as they are, and as much as their models look a lot like Ongo the Bloglian, yeah, which I can't unsee anymore. I gotta say, I love their design. I think they're
Oh
extremely
yeah, okay, so
cool.
aesthetically,
They're
I
another
love
army
the
that I'm
design of the
currently
Sisters of Battle. I just
collecting.
hate them
They
from
just
like
released
a
whole
lore
new
point
line
of view.
Figures very recently, and they look wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. Their
Everything
helmets are fucking
from
gorgeous.
Celestine, the
Their helmets are
living,
like that's probably the
literally
only thing that I really
undying
liked from this new
saint
animated series they're
from
doing.
the-
Like I don't know if you guys have seen this. Where was it? This one. Is it this one?
Base protocols.
Yeah, so there's Sisters of Battle in this. And like no shot. This looks kind of cool. I mean, it's a bit wonky, but it's kind of funny that Games Workshop decided to close down Astartes only to then make something that looks half as good. And, you know, I don't get me wrong, I like anything in the Warhammer universe. I love seeing the creativity, I love seeing whatever, but they literally had a guy who was willing to make stuff better than this without needing to get paid near enough.
It matters. Life matters, sister. The Emperor's angels won't save this world now.
Look at that helmet. That helmet is goddamn gorgeous. That armor is gorgeous. I find it weird that they're trying to paint the Sisters of Battle in this series as if they're sociable.
The Triumph of Saint Catherine, which
yeah,
is
that's true.
a
SWAT night.
funeral procession.
Well, it's like Games Workshop are basically doing a Wizards of the Coast. They're basically saying if it's not made by us, we can't have it. We want all the money.
Warhammer universe. And
what, you're trying to capitalize off RIP? No.
While I'm a guardsman at heart, this is such a cool faction.
Yeah, exactly. It's all money, and it's bullshit.
Melta Blast, the mutant, the heretic, and the traitor alike are cleansed of their sin of existence. So it has been for 5 millennia, so shall it be.
Yeah, you know what, SWAT Knight? I reciprocate that statement. If I could have one hobby in which the rights holder isn't a gigantic asshole, that would be great.
The Grey Knights are the first army I actually collected.
I'll be real, these guys look fucking awesome, but even these guys are the Sisters of Battle of the Space Marines. They're so cool looking.
They are all psychers. All of them have that crazy,
but there's just that little bit of crazy.
Shit. For every 100,000 guardsmen, there's one Grey Knight. For every 10,000 Sisters of Battle, there's one Grey Knight. For every 1,000 Space Marines, there's one Grey Knight. Grey Knights are the strongest of the strong, both in mental will and absolute just strength. These are Space Marines that
so
are
cool,
all
though.
high level.
Except for these mechs here, which look so goddamn goofy. They look so goofy.
All of them able to specifically do one.
Like, why are
goal,
his legs
and
just
is
sticking out the bottom there?
The
Could you not have
Emperor
made him a little
believed that
compartment
the
for his
demons
legs?
of Chaos were the #1 threat to the Imperium, and he probably is right. However, this group is entirely based on doing that through a myriad of tactics. Coming from the planet, or I guess the moon, of Titan in the Sol system, the Grey Knights are thrown through extremely rigorous training and are as clear of mind and soul as they possibly can be. Since the
I do love how
demons
the
of
Emperor's
the
text
warp
to speech
are
kind of
the warp,
normalizes
and
the
your
concept
mind
of everything
projects
going on
to
in
the
this
warp,
universe. Like,
people
I learned
can go
more from watching
insane
Emperor's text to
very
speech
fast,
than I did any
especially
codex.
lower-level psychers. These Grey Knights need to be able to harness the warp in the presence of demons and stay perfectly sane. One of their characters, one of my favorite characters, is named Castellan Crow. He has a demon blade, the black blade of Mahamahama, and he has to have it on him because it tempts everyone nearby, constantly beckoning them. Use my power.
What you're saying is he rolled a nat 20 on his Constitution saving throw. Cool.
Use my strength, suck my penis, whatever the possibility, and so he has to keep it on him all the time as this thing whispers to him consistently, and he has to stave it off forever, being alone in his chambers or on the battlefield, because anyone who gets too close to it might be tempted a little too hard. He is
Listen, guys. Hello, my name's Makari. I'm a succubus. If you're not getting tempted by that blade, you can be tempted by me. At least if you get tempted by me, you get some titties for it.
that pure of heart and mind, and all the characters in the Grey Knights are basically like
Throw it into a star? I'm pretty sure it's connected to his soul.
Kind
of like how I'm connected to your soul. And if you try and leave me, you'll end up in my
pit. If they're fighting demons, demons corrupt and make people crazy. So if I'm a guardsman and I'm fighting demons and the Grey Knights arrive...
Ah, yes! I see Bricky is a fellow anime enjoyer. Nice to know that he has a very fine taste in anime. Anime, right guys? Anime.
I'm a risk. And so guess who's not making it out of there? On the tabletop, they're very strike fast, strike hard kind of people. They teleport all around the place. They are fast strike groups, small amounts of models because they're so dang strong. You only have so many characters, but with it, you get in there, you're very tough, very tanky, you hit really hard, and you try to bounce around the battlefield quickly, but you don't have
SWAT
numbers.
night.
And
You and
so
I can be
every
friends, SWAT
dead
night.
Grey
You and I
Knight
can be friends.
hits really damn hard. They're fun though. If
We
you like that
we
kind of,
accidentally watched
fast
Interspecies
striking kind of
review
art.
on my Discord.
Oh, and also Caldor Drago.
Oh, Caldor Drago! This dude's completely bonkers.
I'm going to get into Caldor Drago. All right, that is, oh my goodness gracious. I am the hammer. I am the mail about his fist. I am the spear in his hand. Though we are lost, I am the shield on his arm. I am the flight of his arrows. I am the hammer. I am the sword. I am the shield. I am a soldier at the battle at the end of time. Grey Knights are pretty hardcore. They are as holy as you can get for a Space Marine. If you like Space Marines and you want to, you don't think they're holy enough, you want to be holier? Grey Knights. Now, if you want to be holier and let's talk Imperial Knights.
Oh.
Do you like gigantic walkers the size of homes or medium-sized buildings? Do you want to kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them per turn? Do you want a gigantic old-school knight noble house style of walkers with giant chainsaw arms? Then you got Imperial Knights. Imperial Knights, it's not a whole lot to talk about them because they're just gigantic walkers, but they have this old school, like, house feel to them. Like, literally, like, they're houses. Each Imperial Knight comes from a house, and each of them act in their own special way. These behemoth of walkers also destroy almost everything in their path, killing full swaths of squads in a couple shots, stepping on legions of troops. Like, these things do not mess around. And they look so cool. Imperial Knights and
I'll be
Chaos
honest, that
Knights,
trailer
don't
for
have a whole lot to
Dawn of War
discuss.
3
They're just
looked
super
amazing. It's just a
big,
shame that the
heavy
game it was
walkers,
advertising.
and they look different
Oh
depending on
boy.
your house or chaos god you currently believe in. And overall, these things are just really cool if you want to murder everything in your path. They're the big, scary, big unit of Warhammer, and if you want to collect them, go to town. They make for a great painting project too. Game over back down to...
It's just a shame you have to take out a mortgage to buy a single one of them. I think I saw one in my local Games Workshop, and it was £125 for the single model. £125. That in your freedom units would be about $150.
Earth. Let's talk something about a little bit different, a little more gold.
The
Guardsmen
Custodies!
are regular soldiers. Space Marines are super soldiers. Grey Knights are super soldiers. The Adeptus Custodes are super soldiers cubed. The Adeptus Custodes are the third major army I own. I know, 3 armies. I know, I got carried away, okay? But that's all. I only have 3, okay?
Warhammer is a
They
rabbit
are
hole.
Our final brand of
Warhammer
Space
is a
Marines,
very
but
deep rabbit
ones
hole.
Are super special. Okay, if a guardsman is 6 foot, a space marine is 7 feet, a custodian is 8 feet. These are the giant defenders of Holy Terra, which is also Earth. Earth is Terra. Earth, Terra.
The golden
themselves. These are the
boys,
people
they
that
know what
literally
they
guard
want.
the
The
Emperor's
golden
throne
boys,
room.
they'll take what they
Custodians.
need.
These boys protect the Emperor's throne room at all times and are literally like handcrafted.
Also, they basically
They're not
look like
humans brought
JoJo
up by a
characters
gene
under their
seriously.
armor.
These are all handcrafted super soldiers. I think from a tube. These behemoth of men are like 8 feet, 8.5 feet tall, and functionally immortal. They stand still, spear in hand, for hundreds of years without the need to sleep and barely even the need to eat, watching over the throne room and every other area of Holy Terra for their entire purpose.
These models are really hard to get a
And,
hold
oh
of,
my
though,
Lord,
aren't they?
Are they terrifying? These custodians put Space Marines to shame. If you liked your super soldiers, these are your super mega soldiers. One of these men can take on probably 3 Space Marines and most likely win. There are many different groups of custodians as well, like the Solar Watch, or there's also one of my personal favorite, the Aquilin Shield. The Aquilin Shield go out to seemingly unimportant...
Golden purple, power color combination. Absolute power color combination. I mean, usually it's purple, sorry, gold on purple, not purple on gold, but hey ho.
Individuals and protect them because they believe that they are going to be doing something very important in their lives. For instance,
Daisy, one Adeptus Custodes could probably take on about 20 Space Marines. That's how strong they are.
Becoming a general one day or something of that nature. The Custodians work in mysterious ways and are almost always outnumbered, but never outmatched. These people
in a fight, obviously, in a fight.
Both on the tabletop.
Just like how I can take 20 guys.
There are very few of them, however.
In a fight.
There's actually extremely small amount of them. But that's
in a
kind
fight?
of the point. There's only so many of these people that can have war gear this strong, weapons this powerful, and training this good. And the Custodians have all three of it. For 100 years, I stood my watch amidst the somber shadows of the Sanctum Imperialis. I was still as a statue, but always ready, always attuned to dangers unseen. Days, months, years passed by in a frenzied blur beyond those walls, yet within, little moved and nothing changed. For 100 years, I did not but wait, yet had any threat appeared, I would have struck it down in a heartbeat.
100 years, the dude stood there and just waited. This man has more patience than any VTuber I know. If a VTuber doesn't get a new model every 5 seconds, they lose their goddamn mind. If a VTuber doesn't get compliments about their fine thighs or Twitter acclamation, instantly demotivated.
Heartbeat. For 100 years, I stood my watch, and as it ends, I can tell you this.
Don't call me out like that, SWAT Knight. Don't comment out like that. This donathon's entirely going because of my ADHD.
Of the Imperium, and they hurt just that same way. Though I do want to discuss a little bit about the Sisters of Silence before we get out of here, because the Sisters of Silence I also have a few of, and they're really fun, but they don't get enough attention. These kind of bald plume ladies are a whole group of pariahs, are also known as blanks. We'll be referring to them as blanks from now on. So as every mind is somewhat connected to the warp, these blanks are a genetic mutation that has it suppressed heavily. Because of that mind suppression, normal people feel this weird, like, uncomfortable nature when around them.
Are they attacking a Space Marine?
When a Sister of Silence walks past them, you feel ill. You feel just uncomfortable and strange. So most of them don't actually live past childhood, because once they are birthed, they're, well, you know, killed or something at a very young age because they just emit a horrifying aura. These ladies, however, are guardians of the throne as well for more psychic threats. See, none of the Custodians are psychers, so they have a difficult time dealing with major demons and other kinds of psychic phenomena. These sisters
so
are
what you're telling me is it's like
specialized.
dealing with
All
a bunch
of silence, as they don't speak, hence the
I'm not gonna make that
Sisters of
comment. I'm not
Silence,
gonna make that
but
comment.
they communicate through hand gestures and things of that nature. But if there's a demon issue, if there's any kind of warp,
so you get sick when you're around them. They're very oppressive. They're usually considered antisocial.
They normally work a lot.
Are these guys fursuiters who've been sat inside their fursuit for too long?
Kinds of threats, but they're not represented that way on the tabletop. In fact, they only have like one real model for them, which is very unfortunate. I hope they'll get something new soon because I think they should really be working together as it is that way in the lore. But hopefully we'll get there soon. But if we're talking about blanks, let's talk assassins.
Oh my god, how many factions are there within the Imperium? Jesus!
It's been a long video. We're about to round it out. We got this and one more human thing, and then we're done. The assassins, though, the officio assassins.
So I remember seeing these guys, and I straight thought these guys were Necrons originally.
Boy, these people are deadly. Yeah, they're called assassins. They should be, but oh man, these people will mess you up. So these are from the Officio Assassin.
Kind of puts into perspective when you realize that Space Marines are only the second level of power within the Imperium.
From the what was it called? Schola Progenium. It's basically an orphan school. Your parents got murdered by demons or something. You get sent to this and you get trained to be whatever. Tempestus Drop Troop, an Inquisitor, maybe even. Maybe you get a blank gene and you get thrown into the Sisters of Silence.
Nick,
or
don't point that out.
Disappear. When you are taken, however,
I try to pretend the timer doesn't exist at this point.
Assassinorum works in the temple style of things. These temples are the Vindicare, Caluxus, Calidus, and Eversor temples. Let's start with the Vindicare. I'm far away. I've been sitting here for 3 weeks.
Daddy. So what I'm getting from this is these guys are basically what would happen if Solid Snake met Sam Fisher, Hitman, and all got junked up on steroids. Because god damn.
Poof! The Vindicare Temple is the main sniper-based temple. Gigantic sniper rifles for all these assassins. Their whole point is to be able to be in a spot and sit there, eye and scope, for weeks, waiting for their perfect target, taking people out from literal miles away after extremely long.
So like a typical 15-year-old playing Call of Duty.
The Vindicare Temple is about precise, perfect aim. There have been reports of Vindicares being able to
people are soon not going to understand the concept of 1v1 me and Rust.
3 miles away. Temples in the head.
I feel old, man. I feel old.
Instance, and been sitting there after weeks. And when they're ready, take that shot. Time is done. Packs them up. The Calidus Temple, however.
I never knew that the Emperor had an interest in Rule 34, but, and allow me to express this in the most profane and respectable manner possible, but, mommy, mother, mommy, mommy, God!
I'm gonna come.
Why do they've even got for some friggin' assassinacy down there? Hold the phone. I'm sorry, but why they got assassinacy? That's incredibly monkatos. Sheesh.
Is a lot more about shape-shifting and deviantart. It's mostly a female-based one, or at least it seems to be, and this allows a lot of body augmentation for certain individuals to be able to kind of transmorph themselves and infiltrate areas that are problems.
So
these assassins will end up taking missions that take them years.
Spandex-covered ladies with supple, delightful curves and muscles. And you're expecting me not to get a little bit smitten by them?
Or become the main target and sabotage it from within. These are all completely about deception, mind tricks, polymorphing, and everything in between. And lots of drawings. Lots of drawings. The Eversword Temple.
Hey, listen. Fan art depicts popularity. The more popular something is, the more fan art it gets. I'm just saying.
One. The Eversword Temple is about when you don't want anything to come back alive, friend or foe. You want it all dead. An Eversword is psychogenically conditioned with just psychotherapy and psychological torture to only feel violence, hatred, and anger. It does the Clockwork Orange style of thing of just making you forced to watch never-ending pain and misery and psycho conditioning, I guess is the term. And then they pump you full of tons of psychedelic drugs.
You mean to say they've watched one too many My Chemical Romance
and then they
concerts.
Drop you in an area where they just want to make sure everything is dead. And then you defrost full of just all this insane, mind-boggling psychotherapy and psychedelic drugs. And you
I'm not crazy, I'm just positively insane.
Yeah, you don't care if anyone comes back alive. You're like, all right, lost cause, send them in. Finally, there's the most bizarre temple.
God, these guys look like Necrons.
The Cluxus assassins are feared even among the other temples. So that blank gene, the people will go to the Cluxus temple with this as well. And this is where they can harness that to be massively anti-psyker or even just anti-regular people. They are seen with extreme fear and distrust among many, many people. They are described by the Eldar.
And you still wonder how on earth, with all this power,
imagine that uncomfortable
did humankind manage to fuck up so badly? I mean, you can understand how they managed to get to the point of being almost in dominion of the entire galaxy. But with all this power, how on God's green earth did they
now they are basically
up so badly
to a siren
to lose it all?
Directly in your ear. And if you're a psyker, Oh no, the sheer presence of a Caluxus assassin is enough for you to tear your skin off. You will rather gouge your eyes out and rip your nails off than even being near this person. The Caluxus assassin is when you want psychers to literally lose their minds, and they will go on their knees and ask you to gun them down because it is a suitable choice over being anywhere near you. The motto of that temple is, "That which is unknown and unseen commands the greatest fear." Now, for the tabletop, assassins aren't that special.
Yo,
you can
Nick,
call
what's up,
them
dude?
in no matter what Imperial faction you are, and they do a lot of work.
God,
for
even the
themselves,
models
but at
are
the same
stupid and
time, they're
sexy
very
on all of
specialized and
them.
require a lot
Of course there had to be one fact. Of course there had to be at least one faction that made me just want to buy it for the sake of admiring the anatomy.
of finesse. And they work the way you generally want them to, though. You want to cause some distortion and weird stuff, you take a Calidus. You want to just murder swaths of infantry and then blow up Eversor. You want to kill that one guy, Vindicator, and if you have a lot of Psychers, Caluxus. It's a nice little, like, jack of all trades if you have a specific thing you want to kill. And you get to choose which is really fun. But now, let's talk about the last human faction. We can round this video out before we do part 2. The Inquisition. We have a lot to talk about with them.
No one expects the Spanish
Oh boy.
Inquisition.
Where do I even begin with the Inquisition? Take every secret police you can think of.
You start
The
with their
KGB,
dicks.
The Gestapo, the
You start
CIA,
with
FBI,
they are
any of
they
these
are
kinds of people.
fanatical
And then
dicks, like
mark
every
it
other
up
part
by
of the
about
Warhammer universe.
10 and give them the most power in the entire Imperium. No, you know what? How about this? This right here, it's not just a quote. This is the Imperial motto, the motto of the Inquisition. I apologize for my bad pronunciation. Innocentia nihil probat. Innocence
Innocentia
proves
nihil
nothing.
probat.
The most powerful organization in the Imperium, the secret police, their #1 motto is innocence proves
You may be innocent, but you're
nothing.
still a
The Inquisition
heretic.
goes around like the secret police or like detectives to find issues in the Imperium. And they have different ordos depending on what
Hey,
they're
Dark
talking
Queen.
about. The Ordo Hereticus, the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, for instance, and a whole bunch of other ones. Hereticus is obvious, they deal with heretics. Xenos tries to find alien threats, and Malleus is demons. They all have different specializations in what they're trying to go for as this Inquisitor. And that's what they're called, Inquisitors. Each
And
of
yet,
them, as an
With
Inquisitor,
all
has their
these
own free
factions,
reign to
all
do as
this
they
shit,
wish. May
they
have a
still
ship,
ain't got
a
no
crew,
riz.
And they go out to find problems and interrogate people a lot. They are above the law in every department over Space Marines. Now, the Space Marines might argue against them and stuff, and there might be a lot of blowback, but technically they are above them as Inquisitors. They are looking to investigate and figure out coups and cults and demonic incursions and possible Xenos issues like gene stealers or a new threat coming into an area. They're about learning that stuff and actually doing detective work. And memes aside, they're pretty good at it. The Inquisition having all of this power does make them a little bit power hungry and frantic sometimes. And yes, it is still a bad thing, but most of them are pretty good at their job. And they spend a lot of time
Damn,
being
look at
very
that
diligent
hairdo.
to make sure that all of these leads they follow.
I appreciate the fact the
They're
Warhammer
basically
universe
space
gives
detectives
the ladies the
with
boob
just
armor, even though that would
enormous power
never make any
and
sense.
sometimes a bit of a power complex. And we haven't even
Maybe we
talked
should have
about
Makari
Exterminatus
dressed
yet.
up in power armor
Exterminatus.
sometime. Oh no, we do. I
Exterminatus
just can't
is
show it
aiming
here
a
because
planet
it's
unfit to be saved. I deem that this
yeah,
planet is
not
demon
publicly
infested,
acceptable.
and taking it back will cost too many resources and is not worth it. I have now committed Exterminatus on this planet. I will now sign the death warrant of an entire Imperium planet, as it is unfit to take and better to be destroyed than allow the enemy to hold it. This can mean saturation bombardment.
Yeah,
This can
unfortunately
mean
not quite.
cracking the
Unfortunately.
planet's core and breaking it apart. Doesn't matter. Render this planet inhospitable to all life. Yes, the innocence proves nothing people are the only people who can choose this planet must die in its entirety.
sheesh.
Yeah, you're playing the villain. Now, it is memed a lot, but most Inquisitors are very rare to do Exterminatus. Exterminatus is a very crazy thing. There's only so many
I don't think I've
worlds
ever played a
that you
Warhammer
don't
game that
destroy all
has
of them.
Space
Now,
Marines in it
naturally,
or
with the
inquisitorial
memes
elements
aside, there are some
that doesn't
people
then
who are a
incur
little
the
bit rough on this one.
an Exterminatus.
But most Inquisitors generally don't like to do Exterminatus a ton, but it is an option they have. And it's a crazy option when you think about it. Secret Police Inquisition are unfortunately not represented on the tabletop very much. You generally kind of put one in your army if you feel like it. You have a couple special options there and some side content, but they're not really fleshed out very well, and personally they need a lot more stuff put in there, and they really need a lot more effort put into them, and they're not quite where I want them to be. Overall, the Inquisition makes for a lot of the best storytelling as well.
Considering the
because
size
it's a
of
little bit
Games
hard to
Workshop, you'd
talk
think
about a
they'd
big
put more
story of
effort
a
into
whole bunch of
releasing more
Space Marines
units or
killing
more
something.
types of
Right,
units,
it's just a
right?
big battle story. It's not as interesting. Having that intrigue and that moral dilemma that an Inquisitor has makes for a lot better media. And honestly, the more people do it, I think it's better, because then it adds a little more humanity to the Warhammer horrible, horrible grimdarkness. And wow, we just finished the humans. All right, come back for part 2 when we talk about
God
Chaos
damn
and
it,
Xenos,
man!
Because
Okay, I'll be real. I knew most of those. At least I knew of most of those. But some, I didn't realize this was just going to be the humans. There's an entire another video for the friggin' Xenos races. God, wow, okay. Right. So, I guess we're going to watch the second video at some point soon. So yeah, if you guys have liked it, make sure you comment about what faction you play, and if you about how humans are stupid and stuff, and why orcs are best. And I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever we go and watch that one. If you want to watch it with us, we're on Twitch and stuff, so drop by. Yeah.